Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Foundation Files. I'm your host, Gian. I'm here with my great co-hosts, James and Ren. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. I'm a little tired, but I'm chilling. I'm feeling good.
All right. And Ren, how are you tonight?
I I have a lime tortilla chip in my mouth because I didn't realize we're recording this early.
Well, it's happening now, so
This
get ready. Today,
uh,
we're going to be
uh,
reading some goofy SCPs. I know last time I subjected you all to the Old Man and the Tragedy Comedy Mass. Pretty spooky stuff. So today we're taking it lighthearted. Today we're reading some sillies. Are you excited for that?
Yay!
Ren, you should really be excited because we're starting with one of your favorites.
Oh.
SCP-524, also known as Walter the Omnivorous Rabbit.
I love this one. I really like this one.
Here we have a picture of SCP-524 when viewed from a window overlooking its pen. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. As it has a benign nature, little security is needed for this SCP, more commonly known as Walter. Walter must be kept under surveillance in order to prevent accidental damage to any vital material within the site. While not under the direct care of a personal member, Walter may be kept in a specially designed pen, roughly 5 by 5 meters, with sensors placed to notify Walter's current keeper of any escapes. Due to its abilities, there are no specific diets to be assigned to this SCP. Walter is a common white rabbit, with the species Ornithologus cuniculus. It can also be identified by its white fur with symmetrical black markings on its body. Walter has shown the ability to be able to consume any material regardless of edibility. It eats in the same fashion as any other member of its species, though it can eat substances that are not inedible but dangerous. Walter has been recorded chewing through wood, steel, glass, and in one instance, several kilos of radioactive material. Walter shows no adverse effects to anything it has consumed. Despite the obvious paradox involved, Walter has been known to fully consume its own body. It begins by chewing on its tail, slowly eating past its hind legs and upward towards the head. When it reaches up past its front legs and neck, Walter somehow manages to flip its entire mouth inside out, consuming its entire head and disappearing completely. Roughly 30 minutes later, Walter reappears near the spot it had eaten itself, completely whole. It is essentially unharmed in the process. Addendum. Walter was discovered during a major blackout in August of 20 Redacted. It has disrupted a large power plant by chewing through several reactors and discovered nibbling on a large wire. And that's the SCP.
I really like this one. I know Ren and I were talking about this one the other day. I don't remember what the context of that was though. But it was something along those lines of like a creature eating itself and then just like reappearing.
Oh, it was Pochita. We're talking about Pochita.
Oh, probably some yeah, now I remember what you're talking about. We're gonna have to probably stop talking there for possible Chainsaw Man spoilers, but
So this is one of your favorite SCPs, Ren?
It is, if not, no, it's not it's not like my all-time favorite, but it's probably top 3.
it's just silly, it's just fun, it's goofy, it's this cute little rabbit that's able to just eat any and everything.
It is a short and sweet one that James reminded me of like 10 minutes before we started. And him just explaining it to me, remembering, oh yeah, Walter the Rabbit. That reminded me of another SCP I don't know if you know of, Ren. Very close in number, SCP-529, Josie the Half-Cat.
Hold on, one more thought on Walter really quick. Do you think it would be able to eat the invulnerable lizard?
I don't think they want to put him in the same pen as him, because 682 has a hatred for all life, so that would put Walter at
Wait,
risk. Unless they can somehow sedate 682.
Yeah.
what? Hold on. Question. What if Walter got eaten? Because I know he can eat himself, but what if he gets eaten by, like, something else?
I don't think they want to test that.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, bro.
Do you think they use him to dispose of different materials? He's like he, I know we talked about that one on like the last episode where there was an SCP that was like, wasn't it like the bag that they were able to just like throw stuff away in basically? Or
Yeah.
am I getting it mixed up with a different one?
No, that's the one.
I wonder if they just use Walter to like dispose of like radioactive material. They're like, oh, we have like some spare uranium. Let's just throw that in his pen and call it a day.
I don't know if they want to get too dangerous, because he's not invulnerable. He's not immortal, I don't think. He just can just eat anything. Also, how long is a rabbit's lifespan?
It's like not super short, I don't think. But it's also not super
like
long
7.
either.
It's probably
8 to 12 years. Some living
I was gonna
14 to
say
16.
I was gonna say about 5 or 7 years.
It also depends on the type of rabbit. Apparently, like, I'm just looking it up right now, and it says pygmy rabbits are 3 to 5, while European rabbits are 9.
Mm.
What about the big ones?
Flemish rabbit?
Yes.
I love Flemish rabbits. Hold on. 5 to 10. Usually 8 to 10. I love Flemish rabbits. Sorry, but that's enough sidetracking. We can
That's
talk
all right.
about a half cat.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was Walter the Omnivorous Rabbit. Moving on to another silly animal is SCP-529, Josie the Half Cat. As you can picture here, is half of a cat. Object class safe. No special precautions have yet proven necessary. Josie is quite affectionate and at this stage is free to move around the lower levels of the facility. Staff are not permitted to feed cheese to her. She will become distressed if not given sufficient cheese. SCP-529 is a small house cat, Felis catus, with gray tabby markings. Parts of the animal of the rear of the end of the rib cage appear to be missing. The body terminates sharply as if sliced in two. In spite of this, the animal has no health problems. It moves around as if its hindquarters were still in place. For example, walking takes place as usual, and sometime after feeding, the animal makes motions as if to void itself of waste. The cross-section does not display the interior of the animal, but does appear pure black to the eye, and absorbs all non-visible wavelengths of light. It is slightly yielding to the touch. Gentle stroking of this area sometimes yields a positive reaction, purring and so on, but more usually leads to the creature turning the agent's claws at the ready, though scratch have experienced no abnormalities. The hind regions do not appear to be invisible. A cursory examination will show that there are no hindquarters. DNA testing has shown the animal to be female. And that's it for Josie. That's all we have on this SCP.
It's just half a cat. How does it... I want to know how it moves.
It's as normal.
Have you ever...
It's as
Does it crawl or does it like stand up?
I think it
straight,
stands because I think it moves as normal. So like it appears that just the back of it is invisible, but testing has yielded that it's not. So it's weird.
Have you seen those like videos of like the dogs with only their like front legs, like the Chihuahuas, and they just kind of do handstands to get around?
No.
Yeah, I can't say I do.
Hey, dude. Every episode you guys try to make me look crazy. It's what you're trying to do. It's the government. I'm telling you, I think you guys are the government. And this is what you're doing. This is how you try to get me. Maybe I'm an SCP. And you guys are the guys. And then you're trying to contain me, but you can't.
Sure, man.
My fault. I'm sorry.
You go, James.
I don't know much else to say other than I think it's a very cute cat. I like the name Josie, and I think it's funny, and I like it.
My dog's name was Josie. She was named after the Steely Dan song.
That's nice.
She was a full dog, not a half cat, though.
I would like to say, I'm just checking this now. In our little group chat, Ren has sent pictures of 2 rabbits saying Gion Rabbit and James Rabbit. Thank you very much for those pictures. Those are going in the video. If you can supply a rabbit for yourself, Ren, we will put that in there too.
I don't know what rabbit I would be.
If you guys want to figure that out, I can move on to our next SCP. It's going to be longer. Yeah. Alright.
Wait, I found what rabbit I'd be. Hold on.
Okay. That's nice. I agree.
I saw this one. This one... I don't know which one that one is.
Furry.
Yeah, it's very fluffy. But I don't know who that would... It's like a... No.
The viewer rabbit.
The viewer rabbit. That's you.
Viewer.
Look, that's you guys. Moving on to SCP-426, I am a toaster. Object Class, Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. I am to be sealed in a chamber with no windows, through which I may be viewed. The door to my chamber must have a label completely unrelated to my designation or identity, in order to prevent unintended spread of my primary effect. Only Level 3 and above personnel are to know of my presence, any particular of my properties. Assigned personnel are to be rotated out on a monthly basis to prevent contamination of my secondary effect. Psychiatric evaluation is mandatory at the end of the month. If personnel are deemed unaffected, they may be reassigned to me no less than 4 months after their last rotation with me. Any affected personnel are to be given Class C amnestics and transferred to a different site.
Why
Description.
This wacky.
Hello, I am SCP-426. I must be introduced this way in order to prevent ambiguity. I am an ordinary toaster, able to toast bread with supplied electricity. However, when any human being mentions me, they inadvertently refer to me in the first person. Despite all attempts, there is yet to be a way to speak or write about me in the third person. When in my continuous presence for over 2 months, individuals begin to identify themselves as a toaster, unless forcibly restrained. These people will ultimately harm themselves in an attempt to emulate my standard functions. I was discovered in the home of the redacted family after the gruesome deaths of 3 of its members. I had been given to the younger Mr. and Mrs. Redacted as a wedding gift. No card or any other identifying markers had been found on my box. Approximately 2 months after the family received me, fire crews were dispatched to the home due to an electrical fire. The younger Miss Redacted died from the electrical charge that she had caused when attempting to devour an electrical socket. The other 2 victims had died shortly before the fire occurred. The elder Miss Redacted had gorged herself with nearly 10 kilograms of bread before her stomach burst and she died of internal bleeding. The younger Mr. Redacted was suffering from severe malnutrition. He stated that he had inserted some bread a week prior and was still waiting for the toast to pop. I was confiscated by the Foundation after police noted my unusual properties. A Class C amnestic was administered to the affected officers. So, I think I'm a pretty interesting SCP so far. Like, out of the ones we read, I'm definitely a unique one, I think.
Uh-huh. I'm really fucking with this one. This one's funny.
Thank you. Now we're moving on to the experiment logs. Okay, D-Class 1. 1 was asked to describe what he believed was contained in the chambers. He was not informed about my identity or properties. D-Class 1 stated, I'm probably some huge monster holed up in there. That's what you guys have all over the place, right? D1 remained oblivious to his use in the first-person pronoun. Experiment 2 with D-Class 2. Procedure. 2 was placed in the chamber and given regular meals through a dispenser. No communication with 2 was permitted. Multiple cameras were situated in the chamber, positioned so that I was outside of the field of vision, but allowing constant observation of D2. We remained sealed until my secondary effect manifested in the subject. I was bolted to the floor so that I could not be moved into the camera's view. Details. After 45 days of isolation, D2 wrapped his arm around me and began conversing with me, stating we were brothers. D2 never deviated from using the first-person plural when speaking with me. Subject was terminated 1 hour after the event. It is theorized that the isolation accelerated the progression of my secondary effect. Experiment 3 with D-Class 3. Procedure. A screw was removed from me and shown to D3 and asked to describe it. D3 was not informed about my identity or properties. D3 referred to it as my screw, consistent with Experiment 1. The subject was oblivious to his use of the first person in his description. This suggests that, even if I were destroyed, my effects would still be inherent in my remains. And Experiment 4. D4 was placed in isolation in a cell adjacent to my chamber, to be observed until my secondary effects manifest. Details. No effects appeared. D4 was terminated 90 days after the start of the experiment. Quote, Thank God there are some limits to my effects. A lot of us are really starting to get worried about me. Dr. Redacted. And that's all of SCP-426.
What if they fed it to the rabbit? This is my question. Every episode from now on. What if they feed us the rabbit? What'll
Walter would eat
happen?
me.
Okay, well,
Walter would eat me if they fed me to the rabbit. That's what would happen.
Do you think Walter would learn how to start speaking English?
I don't know. I think Walter is a situation where they don't want to try too much stuff out on it because it is a rabbit that I assume they like having around.
Uh-huh.
So I don't think they would want to put in any dangerous situations, you know?
Uh-huh.
would you guys put me in any dangerous situations?
Yes.
Well, that depends on the context. If you would, like, yield beneficial to our goal, our primary goal, then I trust that you have the skills necessary to navigate that dangers, Ren.
I don't know if I want to be friends with you guys anymore.
I'm just saying I believe in your abilities to, like, confront... What dangerous situations are you expecting us to put you in?
I didn't think that far.
What?
Yeah, are we like talking like do you think are we talking like Walter dangerous situations like trying to feed you uranium or something?
Well, okay. If given the chance, would you feed me uranium,
No.
No.
James? Okay. Good to know. I don't share the same opinion if you guys were in that situation.
I would be curious, but I wouldn't.
Any last comments on SCP-426?
Nope.
All right. I'm glad
All
you
right,
all.
thank you.
I'm glad you all had fun with that one. We're now moving on to our fourth SCP of the night, SCP-504, Critical Tomatoes. Object Class, Safe. Special Containment Procedures. All seeds, plants, fruits, crossbreeds, and other products of SCP-405 are to be classified as SCP-405. SCP-405 seeds need no special containment other than to prevent misuse by unauthorized personnel. Grown SCP-405 plants and their fruit should be kept in soundproof rooms. Guards and researchers assigned to maturing or growing SCP-405 are to be equipped with radio-enabled masks which insulate non-transmitted sound and are to be instructed to avoid attempts at humor. Description: SCP-405 is a species of tomatoes physically and genetically identical to that of the typical commercially grown tomato. It was recovered in Redacted, Kentucky, after a woman reported to the police that her farmer husband had been, quote, murdered by his lunch. The Foundation is currently working to identify and destroy loose strains of SCP-504 in the surrounding commercial farming areas. When a poor attempt at humor is made verbally within human hearing range of SCP-504's tomatoes, they instantly accelerate at a speed of at least 100 miles per hour, approximately 160 kilometers per hour, 45 meters per second, in the direction of the sound source. Only mature tomatoes, separated from their vine, and less than 10% rotted or chemically compromised, exhibit this effect once each. Tomatoes do not have to be physically intact, though ingested tomatoes are usually insulated enough to sound to prevent their effects before neutralization by stomach acid. SCP-504 tomatoes seem to reach speeds relative to the inciting attempt at humor. See experiment log. Relevant variables seem to include corniness, humor-to-length ratio, and use of puns. Language appears irrelevant. Note: whoever snuck 504 into the kitchen's cafeteria is to be terminated. Those tomato slices are like shurikens. Dr. Blast. Test log. Here we go. Item: 1 mature SCP-504 tomato. Subject: D-Class 1. Spoken: is a hippopotamus, or just a really cool opotamus? Result: no change in velocity. Test 2. Same D-Class. What's an archaeologist? Someone whose career is in ruins. Result: tomato clocked at 124 miles per hour, subject suffered a broken nose.
Oh my god.
Note: it appears that SCP-504 has a certain taste in jokes, which might indicate sapience. I hope not. Dr. Blast. Test number 3 with D-Class 2. Spoken: 3 tomatoes are walking down the street. A papa tomato, a mama tomato, and a little baby tomato. Baby tomato starts lagging behind. Papa tomato gets angry, goes over to baby tomato, and smushes him, and says, "Catch up." Result, tomato clocked at 264 miles per hour, subject rendered unconscious. Experiment number 4, D-Class 3. So I was going to bed, and my brother told me, "Good night, don't let the bed bugs stick their proboscis in your skin and suck your blood. Good luck on a healthy dermis." Result, 2-second pause before activity. Tomato clocked at redacted, sound barrier broken, subject killed. So the tomato had to think about it for a second. Item, 3 mature SCP-504 tomatoes, each from a different crossbreed. Subject, D-Class number 4. Okay, spoken. If you have dentures, don't use artificial sweetener, because you'll get a fake cavity. Result, all 3 tomatoes clocked at exactly 145 miles per hour. Subject injured, 2 teeth dislodged. Next test, I've lost count. Subject number 5, spoken. I tried to, okay, the item was 1 mature tomato split into 4 quarters. Spoken. I tried to walk into target, but I missed. All 4 pieces clocked at 212 miles an hour, subject severely injured, right eye destroyed by piece of tomato. Next test, subject, CD player playing Harmful If Swallowed by Dane Cook. Result, at redacted, tomato clocked 167 miles per hour, CD player destroyed. Note, it works with recordings? Damn it, didn't have to deal with D-Class in the first place. Dr. Blast. Item, 3 mature SCP-504 tomatoes, 1 for each test subject. Subject, after the introduction of the following news item, bomb blows hole in Lenin statue, the 3 following jokes were made. Test 1. Ooh, that's gonna leave a marks. Result, tomato number 1 twitched but does not displace from its original origin. Test subject 2. BBC is just Stalin, the good news. Result, tomato clocked at 152 miles an hour, chipped tooth and hairline jaw fracture. Subject 3. That blows. Tomato clocked at redacted, subject is hospitalized with massive skull fracture. Note, I thought we just established that recordings work in place of live subjects. I know how much you guys hate the D-Class, especially 12, poor guy might not even recover before termination rolls around, but I'm making it clear that whoever oversaw this round of testing is getting a serious reprimand. The same goes to whoever leaked the video logs to staff. Next test, subject, television playing the SNL Sarah Palin and Hillary Clinton skit. Result, tomato reacted as if confused. Slow motion video shows 3 separate bursts of speed in excess of 200 miles an hour, 2 incidences of motion at normal throwing speeds, and 1 unprecedented instance of backwards motion, all in one trajectory. Dr. King hypothesizes that the tomato was unsure whether or not to take it seriously. Subject, a portable computer playing a pre-recorded engineering joke. Transcript, 2009 is going to be a complex year. We already know the real part. We still have to find the imaginary part. Result, supersonic blast detected. Computer was completely vaporized by the tomato's kinetic energy, sensors indicating an approximate speed of 3,500 kilometers an hour.
Oh, in freedom units, that's 2174 miles per hour.
Got it. And final test. Portable computer playing a partial audio recording of the Monty Python sketch, The Funniest Joke in the World. So the sketch, not going to watch it, but the Monty Python sketch describes someone a long time ago wrote the funniest joke in the world, which killed him because he died of laughter. British scientists began studying the joke and used it as a weapon of war in World War II, where they ran at German soldiers, reading them the joke in German, causing mass hysteria and deaths. So they read the joke, result, tomato explodes, debris clocking at 137 miles per hour, computer heavily coated by debris, keyboard ruined by exposure to liquid matter, all other components proved functional after cleanup. And that's the end of the article.
You'll love this one. I see when they first like started, right, where it was like, oh, the like I read ahead a little bit and just like was skimming it before you got to it about the woman reporting her husband being killed by his lunch. I thought it was gonna be something like the fake beat from Home Safety Hotline, which just like is a parasite that when you eat it, it just feeds off of like your nutrition, but it's just a beat. This is so much better.
I'm glad you enjoy it.
Do you think it would? How do you think it would react to 6-7?
I don't want to test that, James.
I was thinking about that too.
All right.
Just shows how intertwined and how in love we are, James.
I'm glad that I have agreeable co-hosts.
How do you think it would feel about if you laugh you're a liberal?
I don't know, Ren. That's for the Foundation to decide, not me.
I'd like to test that. Can we like? Is there like any way we could submit testing options, like testing requests to the SCP Foundation?
I think there is, but to the ones that you suggested, I don't want to.
Okay. What about? Huh. Sorry, I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
What if at Subway, every time a customer made a really, really bad joke, the tomatoes just like went through the glass and broke and killed them?
I think that would be awesome, Ren. I really do.
Oh, okay. How do you think it would react to why am I blanking on the? You and I are both big fans of him on Instagram. He does the comics. Hold on. There's Goop Smooch, obviously, but I'm Absolute Nutcase.
Uh-huh.
How do you think it would react to Absolute Nutcase?
Well, it's really hard to say, because I don't just because the article, it gives us some good examples, but I don't think that the Foundation has really cracked down on what the Tomatoes' preferred brand of comedy is.
Well, that's why we test it.
I know, but like the article is not proceeding. It's not giving us enough information to go off of so we can make a conclusion of what jokes it likes.
Imagine if like the only jokes it's like are like I hardly know her jokes.
It might differ per tomato.
You're
I don't.
Right.
Oh shoot, it might.
What about like whenever it's cut into 4s?
They all flew at the same target.
Okay.
Are you all ready
Big
to move
fan of that
on
one.
to our last SCP of the night?
So yes, so.
Yeah.
SCP-294, the Coffee Machine. Here is a picture of 294 at the time of recovery. It appears to be a pretty standard, like, office coffee machine. One big standout is that has a keypad instead of any, like, selection options like a normal vending or coffee machine has. Object Class Euclid, Special Containment Procedures. There are no standard special containment procedures on file for SCP-294. However, personnel of security clearance level 2 or higher are allowed to interact with it. SCP-294 is currently being stored in the second floor personal break room and is monitored by 2 guards of security clearance level 3 at all times. Description: SCP-294 appears to be a standard coffee vending machine, the only noticeable difference being the entry touchpad with buttons corresponding to the English QWERTY keyboard. Upon depositing 50 cents US currency into the coin slot, the user is prompted to enter the name of any liquid using the touchpad. Upon doing so, a standard 12-ounce paper drinking cup is placed and the liquid indicated is poured. 97 initial test runs were performed, including requests for water, coffee, beer, and soda. Non-consumable liquids such as sulfuric acid, wiper fluid, and motor oil, as well as substances that do not usually exist in liquid states such as nitrogen, iron, and glass, and each one returned to success. Test runs with solid materials such as diamonds have failed. However, it appears that 294 can only deliver substances that can exist in a liquid state. It is of note that after approximately 50 uses, the machine would not respond to further requests. After a period of approximately 90 minutes, the machine seemed to have restocked itself. It also is interesting to note that many caustic liquids that would not have eaten through a normal paper cup seem to have no effects on the cups dispensed by the machine. Testing is ongoing. As suggested, SCP-294 was moved to the second-floor personal break room as a money-saving venture. Following Incident 1, guards were stationed at the item and a security clearance became necessary to interact with it. This is Incident 1. On August 21, 2005, Agent Joseph Redacted attempted to use Item 294 to obtain coffee during his allotted break time at 9:30 a.m. At the request of Agent Redacted to see what it would do, requested a cup of Joe from the item. Moments after confirming the selection, Agent Joseph began to sweat profusely and complained of dizziness before collapsing. After moving from unconscious Agent to the infirmary, the medical team recovered the contents of the cup dispensed by 294, a combination of blood, tissue, and other bodily fluids. Testing revealed the DNA sequence of the biological material dispensed by 294 matched that of Agent Redacted.
Oh, that's actually really cool.
Agent Redacted made a complete recovery after 4 weeks of rest and intravenous hydration. X-rays and CAT scans showed no further sign of injury, and Redacted was released. Both agents were reprimanded. Additional security forces of SCP-294 have been recommended. Addendum F. After reviewing documentation on SCP-294, suggested testing SCP-294's ability to retrieve specific liquids from a distance. I need to see what this SCP is real quick. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. Huh. Alright, we'll skip that one. Okay. Addendum I. Researcher punched in request for cup of gold. Machine dispensed a cup of molten gold. Researcher requested similar precious materials with the same result. Addendum J. Researcher punctured, from a safe range, request of anti-water. The machine hummed briefly, then displayed out of range on entry pad. It is theorized that 294 has a limited range of collection and cannot reach into alternate universes or dimensions. Addendum K. Researcher punched in a request for diamond. 294 briefly hummed, then displayed out of range on the entry pad. 294 gave this result for all solid substances, as diamond is a solid crystalline form of carbon. It appears the machine will not dispense liquid carbon, as this does not result in a diamond. When a cup of carbon was subsequently punched in, the machine dispensed a cup of liquid carbon. 294 was immune to the damaging effects of the dispensed liquid. Addendum M. Whew. Testing for range of 294's capacity for retrieval has been initiated. A unique compound has been formulated, composed of undisclosed ratios of redacted brand bleach and redacted brand cola. METRX powder and garam masala. The fluid was created and placed in a sealed container 25 meters away from 294. When requested, the fluid was dispensed. An equal amount of the mixture was no longer present in the original container. Addendum 01. Researcher Redacted, under observation of Level 4 personnel, keyed in a request of the best drink I've ever had. 294 dispensed a fluid similar to an appearance of cola. The researcher identified as a mixed drink he recalls having at a bar during his bachelor party, and was convinced it was the best drink. Redacted did not know what ingredients were in the drink besides rum and cola. Further tests are scheduled to ascertain how 294 gathers information. Test 1A. Under the same conditions, Agent Redacted, the best drink I ever had, 294 delivered a dark fluid topped with white foam, which was later identified as Vienna Lager. The cup was printed with a color picture of 5 men and 2 women drinking beer on beach. Redacted was one of them. In his briefing, Redacted confirmed that his favorite drink ever was a Vienna Lager. He consumed at the beach with his friends. It has now been confirmed that 294 has the ability to directly gather information from someone's mind in order to comply with the given conditions. Addendum Q. 1. Subject keyed the perfect drink. The machine dispensed a cup containing an odorless lavender liquid. After drinking the liquid, subject appeared to go into shock. Subject later committed suicide, leaving a note which read, "I'm sorry, but at this point everything is just one big letdown." Requesting such a drink again is highly discouraged. None of the components of the drink have been identified. Addendum T. Subject keyed in something Casey will like. The device was heard to hum for about 3 seconds before dispensing an empty cup. Printed on the side of the cup was an image of a traditional soda fountain glass, filled with something brown, and topped with whipped cream. Upon introduction to SCP-085, it was identified by her as a chocolate banana milkshake that judged delicious. Addendum W. Researcher Keaton request for a cup of music. 294 produced a clear, sparkling fluid that tasted vaguely alcoholic. Following ingestion, subject reported feeling and not hearing a continuous rhythm and demonstrated the ability to move and even dance with certain fluidity that has not been previously shown. Testing on other abstract concepts is continuing. During a mass security breach, Agent Redacted requested a cup of pertinent medical knowledge while taking shelter inside the second floor break room. Of the 4 agents in the room, Agent Redacted was the only one who was not injured. 294 poured a cup of clear green liquid. Following the ingestion of the substance, Agent Redacted began mending the other agents' wounds in a manner consistent with Foundation medical training. Agent Redacted no longer has the medical training that the liquid provided, and the other attempts to recreate the effect had failed. The agent has speculated that the event was an emergency measure taken by the SCP to ensure self-preservation. Dr. Redacted requested My Life Story from 294. 294 made humming noises and shook violently for 3 minutes before providing a highly viscous, opaque black liquid. Upon consumption, Dr. Redacted reported that he remembered everything that had ever happened to him. Following the test, Dr. Redacted entered his office and returned 48 hours later with a 538-page autobiography. Addendum AD. Researcher produced request consistently solely of the phrase, surprise me. Device produced an opaque cup containing normal water, later determined to have been heated to approximately 200 degrees Celsius. Upon receiving vibration from transport, the contents of the cup turned into steam, violently spraying boiling water in a 2-meter radius. Addendum AF. Researcher produced request, Blood of Christ. 294 vibrated and produced the message Hic est enum calix sanguineus mai, which I will translate to Latin shortly. In the meantime, while the translation, what do you guys think of the vending machine?
I really, really like this one. Because even aside the fact that it is just kind of a goofy, silly one, it's also really cool. And it's also... It's just, like, really unique in the sense of, like, it needs to take... It's like it takes something from its range to make something, like to make a liquid, but then it also can do these weird concepts and stuff. And so it's like, if the medical training is of the Foundations, I think that's a cool detail that it's specifically about like the Foundation's medical training, because it's in that location, and so it's taking whatever information or whatever is within its range instead of just in general. I really like that detail. I thought that was cool. I like this one a lot.
So the test, when requested Blood of Christ, produced a paper drinking cup containing approximately 0.2 liters of red grape wine with the phrase, "For this is the chalice of my blood." Test AG.
That one's cool.
Researcher produced request for cup of Smilodon blood, which is a saber-toothed cat, cup of passenger pigeon blood, and cup of Thomas Jefferson's blood, and received out-of-range errors. Addendum AH. A D class with an IQ of 99 and low curiosity scores were given written instructions about what to request. Wow! What to request. The D class personnel produced a request of blood of Canis lupus, which is wolf. Received a cup of liquid subsequently identified as wolf blood. The D-class personnel next produced the request for salvia of Equus ferus caballus, and received cup of liquid subsequently identified as horse saliva. The D-class personnel next produced the request for urine of Phastylicardus cinereus, and received cup of liquid subsequently identified as koala urine. The D-class personnel next produced a request for cerebrosnal fluid of Phobaramus Pattersoni, and received a cup of liquid currently undergoing analysis. It is noted that Phobaramus Pattersoni went extinct during the late Miocene epoch, approximately 8 million years ago. Well, Addendum AI. Dr. King produced request for a cup of room temperature superconductor. received a cup of apple juice with seeds floating in it. And final quest, final test, AJ. Dr. Menchu produced request for cup of D-class that number, leukemia, and received a cup of fluid. The fluid was microscopically examined and found to contain leukemic blast cells, which were a genetic match to the D-class. A second request of cup of D-class's leukemia resulted in an out-of-range error. D-class was subsequently found to be free of leukemia, however within 15 days the leukemia had recurred. And that's all we have on the SCP.
I love this one. I really, really like this. Is probably one of my favorites. I think it strikes like a level of goofiness and also a level of like being unironically really cool really well.
What would you guys want from the vending machine?
I want to ask it for the perfect drink because I don't want to I don't want to kill myself. But I would probably just ask it for the best drink I've ever had and see what it gives me. Because I don't even remember. My favorite drink in general is probably just apple cider. I love apple cider. But I don't know what the best drink I've ever... There's probably stuff I don't remember, and I'd love to see what it would give me.
I think I would ask for the OG monster.
That... of all the things you can have, you choose actual battery acid. All right, bro.
No, I don't know what else am I supposed to choose?
Anything. It's a drink that gives you anything.
I think I would really want to try the music drink. I'd be curious to see what that means, like how that would feel, like just the rhythms coursing through your... I think that's cool.
Now, I'm afraid that's all the funny SCPs I have for you all today. But I'm glad that you all were able to be here for it. I hope you all had a good time with this one, and I hope our listeners had a great time listening to us read these ones. Not sure what the topic of the next episode would be. Would you all have any suggestions for any like topics of SCPs you all would like to read? I'm certain I can find like a collection of some that you all would like, based on any like topic or like genre of SCP you all are curious on reading.
I know Rin's been tweaking for, what was it, Class of 76?
Class of 76, How I Love You, but that's like... that would probably be like an hour and 30 minutes.
We could split it between a few episodes, I think.
We could,
do like
yeah.
2 or 3 episodes, 45.
Ren, I'm sorry
30
for...
or 45
I'm really sorry we were pretty mean to you this episode. Would you like to have...
Oh, no, it's fine.
Would you like to have...
It's fine.
Would you like to have next recording be aquatic or shipwreck SCPs?
I think that'd be cool.
I also think that would be really cool. Either that or like, I've always been a really
this dude
big
trying
fan.
to gunplay it. I know bro got the biggest smile on his face right now. Bro is happy.
That didn't seem like a happy side.
Either that or I've always really liked the structure SCPs, which also go hand in hand with shipwreck SCPs, but like that's another thing. Oh, I also have I have my own Discord server where I make a bunch of lists and stuff, and I have SCP list.
You do?
I do, yeah, because you told me to make one.
Just on ones you like, or ones you want to read?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just ones I like. I have... Am I allowed to say bad words?
No.
This isn't really a bad word. Okay.
We can talk about that one after the recording.
Oh, no, I don't need them. I don't care. Cool Shipwreck.
Mm-hmm.
These are my titles for them, by the way. Summer of 91, Lost Children, and the last one is just Whatever Man. And I forgot what that one was. I remember. Oh my god.
All right.
Oh my god. It's the Happy Appy SCP.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Well, I'm glad you guys have a great time with this episode reading out some of the silly SCPs. Next time, we're going to give you all an episode of Ren SCPs. So...
Yeah!
Thank you all very much for joining us this episode of the Foundation Files. We're glad to have you. Hope you all had a good time, and we'll see you all next episode. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. This shit not gonna say goodbye, is he?
I did! It didn't pick up!
It didn't pick up.